Craig, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. We call this the Bod Pod.
Ah.
So we've been just kind of sharing like stories that are happening around here. We've had Dr. Betty and Anthony come on, just talk about like who we are, how we do things. So the goal, of course, is like just again like give people insight into like the real stuff that's happening here,
Right.
especially because it's not what most people think of
Exactly.
as a gym. So so for anybody that's gonna watch this, like tell us, who are you? Why are you here? How'd we get to here?
Yeah. My name is Craig Wang. I come from New Jersey. What brought me out here was the Marine Corps. I served from 1997 to 2005. Was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, so my career had to end there.
Mm-hmm.
Moved out here, got into the nuclear industry in 2005, nuclear security industry, and been doing that ever since, back and forth.
So you were diagnosed with type 1
Yes.
late in life.
35.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that already is like,
Yeah.
It's not common,
No,
right? Like,
not at all.
That's a big surprise.
Yeah. It is. It's not. They called me an anomaly when I got back and I went to San Diego. They're just like, you're an anomaly. We have not never heard of it.
Yeah.
But it's so rare.
What was that like? What did you experience where you're like, okay, we got to do some blood work, figure out what's going on?
Well, it started before I left, from what I gather. I started the symptoms, now that I play it back, started before I left on my first deployment in 2003. We were on base housing at Camp Pendleton. We were moving because we were pregnant with our second child, my son Jackson. So we had to move from a 2-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom. So in moving, I had my communication shop come out and help me move. And so I was forever thirsty. I was, and I playing it back. Yeah, I drank like a 6-pack of beer, and I drank some like the Mountain Dew Code Reds, full of sugar and whatnot, and
which made
lots
you more
of water.
thirsty.
Exactly, a lot of water, a lot of orange juice, and I was just like, I can't stop drinking. And I did, and I drank a lot of that within like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah,
and it was just like I can't stop. And then we left. We're underway. We're at sea, and there was a time where I'm getting ready to go to sleep, and I had a digital watch on, and I turned to look at it, and I couldn't see it.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to take it off and hold it out. So I was just like, okay, so now I got to pee a lot, and I can't see.
Yeah.
I could set my watch.
Yeah.
45 so if it's quarter after the hour, by the top of the hour I had to pee.
Yeah.
Every hour. I was just like, what is going on? And then we stopped. Our first stop was Hawaii on our way to Iraq, or to Kuwait. And we got off and we did our thing. We got back on and we were underway. And I came out of the skin of the ship. I was walking across our flight deck, and our medical officer stopped me. And she said, hey, Staff Sergeant, I want you to go down and get some blood and urine because I think you may be a good candidate for diabetes. I laughed at her.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ma'am, no disrespect, I'm kind of hungry. I want to go eat. I couldn't sleep. I haven't slept, since we left.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, I'll put it to you this way. You can go now, or I can call the Master at Arms and I can have you escorted down. And then once we were going to Singapore or Sri Lanka, and I can have you sent home.
Yeah.
And you can wait in the brig until I get back, or you can go right now. So I said, en route.
Yeah.
Went down and did everything that they asked for. And about 30 minutes later, somebody, runs and gets me. They sent a runner to get me, and it's just like, hey, Staff Sergeant, you need to go talk to the medical officer. She has something for you. She had, I went down to her office. She's like, pack your things. You're leaving. This is my second deployment, not my first.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? She's just like, your blood sugar's off the charts. I can't read it. So we're going to send you over to the larger ship, which was the Bonham Richard at the time. And so they sent me there, and they had better facilities. So I got there. Just got off the helicopter, and I'm waiting, and I see this I guess a dock attendant running up and down the flight deck, looking for a gurney, looking for me.
Because they thought.
Yeah, they thought I was incapacitated.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Staff Sergeant Wayne. Where's he at? Where's he at? I said, I'm right here. And
You're not supposed to be operating
like,
at
you're not
that.
supposed to be. You're not even supposed to be. You should be on a gurney. I'm looking for a gurney. It was just like, come with me. Like they said, your stuff was unreadable. We couldn't.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I'm right here. He's like, come on. I went down there, literally threw me on a gurney. I had IVs in both of my arms, potassium drip in one, and then something else to bring my blood sugar down in the other. And I was just like, I gotta pee. And it's just like, you gotta take these with you.
Yep.
So for 3 days, I was on that, going from Hawaii to Sri Lanka, and that was when the tsunami had hit Thailand.
Oh, no way.
So we got rerouted. We had to go to Guam to pick up supplies before we went to help them.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, Staff Sergeant, you're gonna get off in Guam, and we're gonna put you in the hospital there, and we're gonna get your orders and get you sent back home.
Wow.
I was like, what? And I had to tell my guys this. I had to tell my Marines. I was just like, yeah, man, unfortunately I gotta go home.
Yeah.
I had to turn over, and with my relief, the guy that was going to take over for me, one of my colleagues, one of my good friends, and it was I was devastated.
I bet.
My Marines were devastated. It was, I called home. It was like, I don't know what this is, blah blah blah. She's like, I told my wife, I was like, if you want to leave, I get it. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, please, just come home and we'll deal with it. So spent a week in the Naval Hospital in Guam, and then they sent me home. I left there on New Year's Day, and obviously flying backwards, I got to San Diego on New Year's Day, went home, and then the very next day I was, on the way to San Diego to talk to everybody there, and it was just like, we haven't seen this in such a long time. This is crazy. You're an anomaly. It was weird, absolutely weird.
So then medically retired shortly after that?
I wasn't medically retired. I was medically separated, and then I had to wait. I had to go on a board for I think it's like 18 months, and they reevaluate you. And they weren't going to I asked for medical retirement. I asked to stay in. And my commanding officer and my executive officer and my communications officer all wrote letters of recommendation to headquarters of the Marine Corps to keep me in. Just send me, because I was a communicator, send me to comm school, which is located in 29 Palms, out in Yucca Valley. So it's just like, let him teach. He's great kid, great athlete, blah blah blah. Does this and that, and they denied all of that, and they were just like, we're just going to separate you. We're going to honorably I was honorably discharged.
Right.
But then I had to go through the whole process of disability and all that stuff. So which was it was an arduous task. So, but
yeah. Okay, so you get out in 2005, and not by your own choice, right?
No.
Like you mentioned, you said it was hard.
It was rough.
And I mean, that's the kind of story that I hear a lot, whether it's something like that or even later on where it's like, this is a part of your identity, right? Like, who I am, this is what I do.
Yes.
So what was that like?
It was rough,
especially because you wanted to stay in.
Yes, I did. I wanted to stay in. It was hard. It was mentally hard. It was sometimes it was mentally debilitating. It was just because you have this disease that you knew nothing about, and then you have 2 small kids.
How old are they at that time?
My daughter was 6, and my son was a newborn. So it was, when I got home, I got to see them both being born, which was the blessing. I got to weigh them both. I got to cut the umbilical cords.
Nice.
That was the blessing and all of that. So, so it was hard. It was and didn't know anything about the mood swings that diabetics have, and especially when your sugar is not well maintained, and it wasn't, and so it was difficult mentally. It was really, really a real challenge. But I had a job. In the meantime, while I was here, waiting for my unit to get back, I was out and about, and my daughter was in dance class, so it was just funny sitting next to one of the moms who worked at San Onofre, and we talked, 2 of the moms, and that's how I wound up getting a job in nuclear security. So when my time came for my Marine Corps career to end, my EAS was September 12th, September 14th, I started at San Onofre on September 12th.
Nice.
So I played my last football game as a Marine the week prior, which was awesome because I played football in the Marine Corps. So it was, it was a great time.
Yeah.
And, that was great. And the fact that I had something to fall back on, I had a job.
That's huge.
Was like, and I can continue to go to school and do some other things. That was, the upside. But being at home and dealing with that, the fact that I wasn't able to finish my career.
Yeah.
And then dealing with these mood swings, it was incredible. It was incredibly painful.
Yeah. Now, I know you went through a lot, right, in that kind of time period between, right, leaving the Marine Corps and, say, when I met you, right, when we came. So can you share with me, what are you willing to share as far as, like, what you went through in that middle time period?
Up until I got to you all?
Yeah.
Just really the mood swings, the PTSD, the depression, the anger. But I played, because I was able to, I played a lot of softball. I golfed. I stayed outside. I even played semi-pro football for a little while until I was 42. And then I retired that, because my son was getting ready to start his football journey, and which he's on right now. So I didn't need to play anymore. It was good. But the stress that it put on myself, that it put on my kids, that it put on my marriage, was really unbearable. It wasn't who I was. You know what I mean? And I talked to, my wife and I talk about it, pretty often. And it's just, I apologize. I was just like, that wasn't me. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff that happened because of, I chose not to listen. Mm-hmm. And, it was really, really hard to come to grips with the fact that I was losing control a little bit. Mm-hmm. But thank goodness for, I have a strong family. I have a great support system with my family. And I had a great job, and I have a great job. So it was kind of great. It was, it kind of offset. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, the damage that you cause when you lash out for no reason and you don't know why you're doing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? There were times where I'd sit 2 or 3 days at a time. I just sit by myself in my loft and just watch TV, or I sit in my office. Yeah. I don't turn on the computer. I don't turn on the TV. I just sit.
Just zone down.
Because I didn't know, what was going on. And I felt that if I just stayed to myself and stayed quiet, it'd be a little bit better, but it wasn't, because my kids needed me. My wife needed me. Yeah. There's things that needed to be done, and I'm just literally just out of it.
So were you still, even after you got out, you're seeing doctors, what's going on. Were you still struggling to, say, manage the condition for a while then?
Yes. The technology wasn't what it is today, obviously, but so it made it a little bit harder. But that's no excuse when, you can read, you can get on a computer and look at stuff. And, my wife helped me. Her mom helped me. She was, my mother-in-law was a nurse. So, she was just like, he needs to do this. It was just my inability to listen and take that in and try and apply it. I refused because I was tired. I was tired of fighting. I was tired of fighting, the Marine Corps for my disability, tired of fighting to see if I could stay in. Yeah. Because there was a time, it was like a year after I got out, where I was still trying to stay in. Yeah. And they just literally kept shooting me down. I was just like, so it was difficult. So from then till, as time went on, I got help and things got a little bit better. The strain and the stress and, that damage had already been done. And now it's just really, but now just moving forward and getting into and continuing to work it, and doing what I need to do, things got a little bit better. You slip, everybody, you make mistakes, and I have. And then, I found PHP, where, a couple of guys that I worked with, about 5 of them, were all here. They were like, there's this place, called, Progressive Health. And they had this thing called, the Heroes Program. I was just like, I'm interested, tell me more. And they broke it down. It's just like, you go in there, and veterans, at no cost, you come in here, you work out, they put together a plan for you, and they work with you. And, the coaches are awesome. I was like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. And where is it? They were like, it's in Marietta. I was just like, That's 5 minutes away. When they gave me the address, I was like, literally, it's 5 minutes away.
Yeah, a bunch of you guys that
Yeah.
were working together that far away were all coming in. Yeah.
But they were all, literally, we get off work and we would all come here.
Yep.
So not only I see them at work, and some guys that I hadn't seen, or whether they're off shift or on vacation, they would all be here.
Yeah.
There's like 9 of us here,
Yeah.
at one particular point in time. So it was awesome.
It's interesting. So it sounds like you almost had like some like rebellion against taking care of the condition, because like it was the enemy, right? It was part of this thing that kept you from
Yes.
doing what you wanted to do. And it's like, I'm not
giving in.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and because I was in the shape that I was in, like,
Right.
I had, just before I was diagnosed, we had our 5-year physical, and I just got promoted and had my 5-year physical before deployment. And the doctor was just like, you have the heart of a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm 35.
Everything else is
Everything was like, boom. And I was like, I was 95 pounds. My heaviest was 223, but
Right.
I was fat then. But, when I got here in 2018, I was just like, I'm a stud. I thought I was, and then I wasn't.
Wow.
Things happened. It was just like, wow. But, the coming here initially was the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Once I was in here, it was the hook.
Yeah.
Your staff, Maria and Anthony were my first coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Maria was like a drill instructor to me. She was on me, literally on me. It was just, and Anthony was, from the military side, it was really direct, but really, really understanding. And it was just like, I like this. And and the detail and the support, the text messages. Hey, you good? You coming?
Yeah.
We missed you. What happened? Where you at? That was what got me to stay here and to continue to come here.
Yeah.
No matter what other gym I go to,
Yeah.
I'm always going to come here first.
Yeah.
Because of the way that, your staff is trained, the way that they treat you, the way that, they care for you.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was in here, I want to say in just before COVID, and every instructor knew every person in here.
Yep.
I think when we did an event, we did a contest, and one of the competitions, and everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
Your whole staff knew everybody that was competing. Not looking for, hey, Eric, who's
Yeah.
that? You know what I mean? Or who's that?
Yeah.
Nope. Everybody knew everybody, and which gives you a warm feeling, just, and a comfort that you're home. And then you have folks that suffered some of the same things that you suffered through, and veterans. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Not to mention the folks from that aren't veterans.
Yeah.
It's like to me, it's like one big family. The events that you guys hold, like the poker nights and the Christmas, Christmas gatherings that you guys have and that you guys hold, it promotes a family atmosphere here, which is outstanding.
What's cool about like how the program works, and this is like a lot of the feedback. Like when we started this program, I was very uninformed. Like realistically, like I didn't have a big like veteran background, right? This was Anthony's idea and project and connection. And I just said like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, let's do it. More people to help. But I was a little bit naive into like what we were getting ourselves into, which has been kind of cool, right? That I came in with a pretty blank slate to this. And I will say one of the things that I've learned that's great about how this program works is it's not like you're treated as this project and it's like a counseling thing. Like, yes, it has those undertones. That's part of what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think some of the resistance that comes with a lot of that for a lot of the vendors we talk to is they don't want to be treated like a project. They don't want to be treated like, they don't want to show and feel that weakness. Like, oh, I got to come in and talk about my problems or whatever. It's like, no, like we're here to move, which is something that you guys have gathered around each other for a long time.
Yep.
And it has a purpose, and we're going to go deeper than that. But that's the part where it's like the movement, which is the physical health part, and then the community piece, right? Like knowing it and being with your guys and that kind of thing. Like that's really where that magic is.
I love it. Yep.
And again, like I said, like I didn't realize how important it is. So it's actually been a real pleasure for me to be able to just see like the place that we can be and hold for a lot of you guys. And like, I mean, that's the thing for us. Like I feel super blessed that we get to be a part of that with you guys.
It's amazing. And I think you and I had a conversation, I think I want to say it was like a year or so ago. If you sit back and just watch, when you have a full studio, when everybody's in here and everybody's working and everybody's doing what they're doing, coaches are coaching. But the funny part, not the funny part, but the cool part about all of that when you have a full studio is the support that we give each other. That vets give civilians, that vets give vets, that civilians give civilians. It's amazing. That atmosphere that you guys created back in 2018 was, whether unbeknownst to you, whether you knew it or not, it was the foundation of what you are and where you are now. I think, you know what I mean? If you just sit back and just watch how everybody competes, and and it's not a competition against each other, it's a competition against themselves, and which is the fun part, and which is what you guys foster. It's just like, compete, just keep going. I was here a couple weeks ago and I got a new workout, and perfect example, I was just like, I was humbled. When I got home, I was in my truck, I was crying on the way home. I was just like, I had never felt this inept. I was just like, you're here for a reason. I was, get mad, get over it, and get back in here and get after it. You know what I mean? Because you can't run from it. You know what I mean? If you run from it, it's not going to bode well for you. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And when I came back and I spoke to Coach Stone, it's just like, we're not here to put you, demean you. I said that exactly. That's exactly what I said to myself. It's not for that. It's not about that. It's not a program is not built to conquer you. It's for you to progress and continue to get better.
And I think that's one of the cool pieces, that the way that we've designed this is a lot of the other, say, fitness related veteran programs out there. It is very strict competition where everybody's doing the same thing. Which is great when everybody is on that same level. The reality is we have a lot of vets here that are going through a lot of different stuff. And for a lot of them, they wouldn't fit into that. It would be very discouraging for them to be in that, right? You would feel like, oh man, I just feel like I'm not enough, or whatever it is, right? Which is already a struggle, right, coming out. And the fact that we can meet each one where they're at and say, hey, this is your journey, this is your challenge that we're on. You can't even compare yourself to other people here, right? Which I think is a good thing, right? Like that aspect is huge for helping. It's really like, okay, what environment do we need to create for people to be able to take steps forward, right? What environment do we need to be able to create to take steps forward in your health journey, whether that's physical or mental? And that's a huge barrier for a lot of people, right? Like CrossFit's been in the military and veteran world for a long time.
For a long time,
But it's not right for everyone, right? And it's great for those that are there. And we're saying like, hey, we are here for the guys that don't fit that. And we know you need this, and you know you need this, but we need to create the place that you can be there and be met there.
Yeah, that's the blessing in the entire thing. In this.
So, all right, you were here in basically the early days when we started the Heroes Movement program. And then COVID hits, we get shut down. Heroes gets shut down. And then we slowly started it back up. And there's this gap right here between like when COVID hit and when you came back, which I believe was 24. Tell me about what happened in that time. And you're really like, okay, how did you end up back here in the program?
In 2020, I was unemployed. So I came back, I got back to work back at San Onofre in 2021. But in the midst, so I'm going to say in January-ish of 2021, I went through this change in my body. I was about 196 pounds, feeling pretty good, exercising, doing my thing. And then something happened. And to this day, people still don't know what it is. I went from 196 pounds to 168 pounds in less than 27 days. And I was in the midst of interviewing for several jobs at the time. And in that time, I lost weight. I lost all my muscle. I suffer from muscle atrophy now. I had from my thighs to my ankles, I suffer from severe edema.
Yeah, I remember.
And my legs look like, some bodybuilder's arms. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I had skin and bones up here, and I'm fat down. My legs are like, I was like, oh my God, what happened? Had no idea. Went to several doctors. My blood circulation was good. Everything was good. Edema, I guess, means that you're fighting some sort of infection. There's something going on in your body that your body's trying to fight, and it's causing this. So I said, okay, I need to figure out what to do. And so in the midst of that, after going through all of the doctor visits and everything else, realizing that I was also diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I was just like, which is why I was just like, oh my God, my shoulders, I had frozen shoulder. So now both of my shoulders are bone on bone. And I'm just like, what happened? Where did all this? Still couldn't figure it out. So I said, all right, so got to start exercising. So started slow, just walking to try and get this to go, to keep my feet elevated, get up in the morning, get on the ground, put my feet up on the wall and sit there for about 5 minutes, then get up and start my day, and do that 2 or 3 times a day, and try and eat better, eat differently, change my diet. Then in 2023, I was leaving work, wasn't feeling right, and tried to, walk to my truck, and I had to stop a couple times and didn't realize what was going on. So I was like, okay. It's about a week before my birthday. It was November 13th. And I got in my truck and drove home. I got home, I got to the top of my stairs, turned right back around and went downstairs because I couldn't breathe. I was just like, I'm going to go to urgent care. Because the week before, I thought I had chest pains, and they thought it was like bronchitis. So I thought I had pneumonia or something like that. So I was just like, all right, let me go get diagnosed. And then so I went in just before urgent care closed right here at Kaiser, and they said, I said I was having chest pains. They said, all right, we'll get back. They put the EKG on me, and the nurse or the attending that was there was like, right back. And they came back, and we're just like, Mr. Wang, you're having a massive heart attack, like right now. I said, right now? I said, shut up. Really? And I laughed, just like you're like, I was just like, really? And she's like, yeah, I already called the ambulance. They're gonna come get you. Don't touch the leads. They're gonna hook their things up to them when they get to you, and you're gonna go over to. I said, where do you want to go? I said, Loma Linda. She's like, well, we have a Kaiser hospital in Moreno Valley, but you said I'm having a massive heart attack, right? So it's less than a mile away.
Right.
I'd rather go there, and it's a VA hospital, so it's a veterans hospital, and they cater to veterans. I was just like, so I'd rather go there. They're like, done. Got there, got in the cath lab, and I had 2 stents put in, and the not the crazy part, but the come to Jesus part was when I woke up and I'm in my room, my wife, and then I look, one of my good friends, one of my son's football coaches, is a good friend of mine, and then my son is there. He flew in from Texas, from UTEP, and then I look to my right, and my daughter is coming in the room. She flew in from Boston. I was just like, oh, why y'all
You
here?
didn't tell them?
No, their mom told them. I was just like, so I was just like, at that particular point, I realized that, you got to make some changes. And
how old are they at this time?
My daughter was 25.
Okay.
She's about to turn 25. So 24. And my son was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was crazy. He had just started his freshman year at University of Texas El Paso on a football scholarship.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in the news industry. So it's just like, what are y'all doing here? We're like, shut up.
Yeah.
You had a heart attack. That's why we're here. What are you talking about? So it was great to see them. But it was also a wake up call to do what I needed to do. And then right after that, you don't realize how that sort of thing takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
And you're trying to recover, and you live in a cul-de-sac, and it's just like, yeah, if you're going to go for a walk, you can walk from your house around the cul-de-sac and stop directly across from your house and come inside.
Yeah.
That's it. For like 2 weeks. That's all I could do.
Wow.
Couldn't do anything else. So, it was really humbling. It was, and
it's like a repeat of,
yeah.
right?
When I went through, exactly, when I was diagnosed, I was just like, really, I got to go through this again? And I was just like, but my heart, it was just like, your heart was trash. It was, my left ventricle was 85% blocked.
Wow.
And there was an artery on the right side that was 70% blocked. So it's just like, well, that makes sense then. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I got it. I understand. I get it. So, that was the wake up call. And then as soon as I could, once everything cleared up and I was able to exercise again, that's when I came back in 2024. I was just like, and I saw you. You were the first person I saw, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Like, I'm back.
I remember. I think you just showed up too.
I just popped in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, man, it's been a while.
And I look completely different.
Yeah. And you told me what had happened. I'm like, I am so glad you're here, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what you said.
Like, we got you.
Yeah.
Right? We got you. And like, that's the exact reason why this program exists.
Exactly.
Right?
Which is why
it's
I came back.
Yeah. Like, it was, and realistically, like, it's more powerful now with what you're going through and what you've been through than it was like the first time you were here. Right?
Absolutely.
First time you're here, it's great to be around your boys.
Yeah.
Right. But now it's like, I need this. Like, I need this for my family and all the things that surround that.
Yep.
And, and in particular, like, right, especially because then I know you again, like 20 pounds heavier and all that stuff. And of course, all the other background, to be around people that aren't going to think less of you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, we're here for you today. This is what matters. How do we get you from where you are today to where we want to be and doing the things that you want to do?
Yep.
Right? So, like, and I don't take lightly how hard that is. Like, literally just to show up that day.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one of the overlooked things of, like, how hard it is to just be in that mindset of being able to accept help, which is what you mentioned before.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
It was hard for me, and it was scary to come here, but I didn't see an alternative. You know what I mean? And trying to go to another gym, first you got to find one that's 24 hours, because I'm not going to go into the gym looking like I look, when everybody's there. I'll go at 2:00 in the morning, or try and go before work, before my shift starts. But I don't have, excuse me, it's just me. You know what I mean? But here it's a little bit more, not necessarily, it's like not training wheels, but it's holding your hand and making sure that you're not overdoing what you need to do to get to where you need to go. Because if you overdo it, it's going to take longer. So you got to progressively, you get there progressively. And it's a testament to the way that you train your coaches and the way that they, and the stuff that you insist that they get trained on before coming here, before working here. And, the interns that you have, and the intern, that speak so highly about, about being here and about coming here, and then they go on to do great things. Jared and I can't remember the other young man's name that was here when you guys first opened. They started their own gym. So it was just their own, facility. So it's just like, it's a testament to who you are, testament to Anthony and what he does, and all of the core coaches that you had when you guys first started in 2018, and who you guys are and what you guys are about.
It's cool that you bring up that piece of, like, one of the things you needed us to do was keep you from hurting yourself.
Exactly.
Almost, right? Like, and that is a really frequent thing where it's like, hey, I know what you've done in the past and who you've been. And I mean, honestly, everybody has that, right? As we age, we're like, oh yeah, I could throw this around. I could throw this around. And for us, a lot of the magic is, okay, looking at and listening to your body and where it's at right now and saying, okay, here's our red lights, here's our yellow lights, and here's our green lights. Here's what we're ready for. Here are the things that are worth the risk in pushing through, and here are the things that are not. Right? And sometimes it is like, hey, I know you want to do that, but this is what your body needs right now. Like, I'm in your corner. I promise I'm in your corner. But if I let you do that, we're not going to end up in a good place, right? I mean, we all need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? So, like, it's funny to see that. Like, because again, like, the fight, I mean, just fighting aging.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that.
You come back and it's like having the angel and the devil on your shoulder. It's just like, that's why I came back here, because the devil was on my shoulder. It's just like, you can get back in there and you can throw this around like it's nothing. No, you can't, bro. You're 30 pounds lighter. You can barely pick up this. You can barely do that.
Yeah.
Are you trying to throw this around? Nah, this isn't going to end well for you. So, go back and talk to Eric, talk to Anthony, talk to Maria, talk to Betty, talk to everybody, and let them help you, and and do it the right way.
Yeah.
Do it the smart way.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder. So it's a great, like I said, a testament to who you guys are.
So one of the struggles that we have, and one of the struggles that a lot of veterans have, is even when they know about us and the Heroes Movement program that we run, the hesitancy to just show up and start, or even just inquire. What would you say to someone who knows about the program and that needs something like this, but is hesitant for a number of reasons?
Well, the one thing that I would say is, if you're a veteran, there are times in your life where you've taken risks. Some instances, not really serious risks, but and in other cases, you risk your life, right? Mm-hmm. So take the risk, take the shot. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You get better, or you get better than where you are right now, or where you're currently standing. Yeah. So take the shot. Come talk to your staff. Come talk to you. Sit down and talk to you, because I think they talk to you first.
Yeah, usually me or Anthony.
It's one of the two of you, and you're not going to lose. For veterans, it's really about comfort. The risk taking we've done pretty much our entire careers, our military careers, or our lives. I know I've been taking risks since I was a baby, but still, it's nothing. It's nothing for some, but everything for others. But once you cross the threshold, I think the warmth that you feel when you come in here, the understanding, because it's not just it's you who it's your business, and the pride that you take and in everything that you do. But it's also the veteran standpoint. Talk to a veteran. Talk to somebody that comes here, or catch Anthony and talk to him, or talk to you. But from a vet standpoint, talk to somebody that has done with you, has been not necessarily been where you've been, but been in the military and understands what the military is about and what we do and how we do things and the risks that we do take. This isn't a risk that's going to hurt you. This is a risk that's going to help you.
Yeah.
And not only help you succeed, but help you thrive and will facilitate your health. So from anything from weight training to stretching to eating habits to supplements, whatever it is that you need, everything is here to support. So they're not going to let you fail. And it's really, it's a win-win situation. They set you up for you and your staff set everybody up for success, good, bad, or indifferent. You take every, from the worst case to the best case, and help them get better, continue to get better and thrive and do what they do. So I say, take the risk.
Yeah.
Call somebody. But I think for me, for any vet, I would come in person.
Yeah.
Calling, it's impersonal.
Yeah.
It's not, get to know this family, get to know, how things are done. Yeah. Go on the website, go to Mind and Body or go to the Progressive website and read about the coaches, read about yourself, read about everybody that's in here, your entire staff, and get to know who they are. Do your work, do your homework. Yeah. That's what we do. Do your homework, come in here, get evaluated, let them talk to you. It's not what you think. If you're thinking it's a charity, you're a charity case or this, that, and the third, it's not. It's not. You're not a charity case. You're not somebody or a project, as you said early on. It's a family. It's a family business, and it's a place where you can come when you don't feel your best. But in here, you feel your best.
Yeah.
Because of the staff and the support that you have from everybody that's in here, from staff to clients.
Yep.
That's where you start. Get stretched out. Have Betty Lou work on your hips. Dr. Betty Lou work on your hips. Dave, get you a massage. You can get here and get it all. There's nothing that you guys don't touch on.
Yeah.
from your health, from your eating habits to, to your weight training.
Yeah.
So, and competition.
One of the things that I hear often when I meet with the veterans for the first time that they're realizing that they need is that they're so used to, in the military, just being told what to do,
Yeah.
and that they struggle sometimes on their own. And they're like, I just need someone to tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And that piece of having a coach, like, again, like when we started this, I didn't know, I was like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
right? You spent years, sometimes decades of like, hey, here's the mission, here's the plan, go, right?
Yeah.
Versus just this ambiguous, right, civilian life where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can do what you want when you want. It's like,
Yeah.
And that's, again, like, we will have a time for you to be here. If you don't show up, that will be weird.
Yes.
And you will hear from us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. It's a hard transition to turn off that programming that you not some of us suffer from, but a lot of us embrace. Some of us embrace. I don't say a lot of us, but it helps you get through your day to day. If somebody's here to tell you, your alarm goes off, it's telling you to get up.
Yeah.
Get up, do what you do, whatever your routine is, and then come out here and you have an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is that you're booked for. You have a coach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is what I needed, and Marie was literally the answer, because I had I had an attitude problem, but not here. It was just, but she's she saw it and she was just like, oh, you're that, okay. Let me help you out, and but it was, in a way, it's coaching with care. You know what I'm saying? And care, concern, and consistency is, I think, those 3 C's right there is what you guys have, and what and how you can. But it's each individual coaches, they mold it to themselves to make it fit each individual client, which makes you guys. I mean, it's like, it's amazing. To come here, and again, any vet that's interested in coming, or thinks, that, or knows that they need to work on some things, come here and let you guys do what they do what you guys do.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's, like I said, it's a testament to who you are, Eric, and how you do things and how you handle your business. And I appreciate you and everybody here for it.
Yeah.
It means a lot, and thank you.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel super blessed, again, just to be in the opportunity to play this role.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a beautiful thing that, like he's saying, like you're thankful for like what we do, but like I get to be blessed and just to experience that change.
Yeah.
And that's the most fun part for me. And I mean, that's why most of us get in this, is like we understand and we feel the satisfaction and joy of seeing the changes and seeing the improvement.
Yeah.
In most cases, right, we started with ourselves and we're like, hey, I want to share this with other people.
Yeah. Which is why you're here, which is why you started this. Yeah.
Like, I don't take lightly how fun it is to see the stories and be a part of what we do, because I also know that there's a lot of people that don't enjoy what they do. Like, we get to see awesome stories like every single day.
Every day.
It's so cool. So, have you seen the fundraiser that we're doing right now?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is cool. So this is the first time we've done this way. We are doing the Memorial Day workout, but we wanted to keep separate, right? Memorial Day attention from our veteran program with Heroes Movement. So what we're doing right now is, for every $1 someone donates to Heroes Movement, not only, of course, does that dollar go towards supporting veterans who need this kind of help, right? But also, those dollars go to punishment towards our coaches. Oh. So the concept is, we are carrying the weight that veterans carry.
Okay.
So for every $1 someone donates, we walk 50 meters with a weighted vest.
Okay.
And the goal is for each of our coaches to raise enough to sponsor a veteran for 3 months.
Okay. Which
will equate to about 19 miles of walking with a weighted vest.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right.
It's it seems to be going well. It's fun that people like giving us a taste of our own medicine. So
that will definitely contribute to that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the cool thing is, right, like, with this type of like fundraiser and the golf tournament that we do in the second half of the year, this will be the first year in a long time that we'll be able to actually like market the program.
Oh, okay.
Like we've been in position for several years where it's like the funding for the program can't actually keep up with the demand if we talk about it.
Right.
Mostly the program has grown from, right, people like you experiencing it and then telling your buddies at work or your neighbors, right, that are also veterans. And, you know, it's continued to like just naturally progress that way. Whereas now, like with this and some of the other things we've got going on, we're like, you know, what's cool is we're going to be able to really like scream this from the rooftops and tell veterans like, hey, we've got you, like, be here, you know.
That's outstanding.
I hope that we can get more of the vets that don't have an earlier connection in here. Like we know that's its own barrier of like, you know, say trust if nothing else.
Right.
Yeah. So we're super excited for that.
I'll do my part.
Yeah.
Get out there and talk to my fellow veterans and get them out here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's one of the biggest things for us right now. It's like, hey, if you know someone that needs help with this, we'll take them. Like we want them. We want to make sure they're here. We want to make sure they have the support system they need. And of course, what they need and can get from this is different for everybody. Right. It doesn't mean they need to be really struggling with, you know, anything physical health wise. Like if it's, hey, I just need a group of people around me, veterans and civilians that, you know, will invest in me and, you know, let me work on myself, you know, in a healthy environment. Great. Right. But of course the other side is like, if you're going through some stuff and like, we know, some of the, you know, VA system struggles, right? Like
the VA drama
and the jumping through hoops and like, and that's honestly,
and the hurry up and wait.
I think that's one of the things that is the best about how this works is it's not like you come in here and we sit and talk and then you got to go through a bunch of hoops and months later, like, okay, now we can help. It's like, dude, come in here. We can start tomorrow.
Yep.
We can start tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, so that is one of the things that I've gotten like, how long does it take to get started? I'm like, you meet me today, you fill out one form, we'll get an answer in 24 hours. If you're ready to go, we're ready. You know, so
anybody that I can talk to, you got them in your office, call me in. You know, if I'm here, I'll gladly talk to them and let them know exactly what they're getting themselves into and what a blessing it is to get into it. You know, it's like I said, I can't thank you enough. It's a great program and it's a great facility and your staff again and the support that you guys offer is amazing.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I think we've covered it, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. How's your son doing?
He's good. He's good. Getting ready to head to University of Idaho. Continue his football journey.
How many? He's running low on eligibility, right? He's finishing up.
He's got 2 years. He's got this year and then his graduate year.
Nice.
So he's excited. He's ready to get to work. You know, he's really, really looking forward to the opportunity and being on a bigger stage.
Yeah.
You know, he's done well these last 2 years here at Mount San Jacinto, which was a blessing, you know, for him. And now he's ready to, you know, to kind of shed that and get ready to get to work and, you know, on the Division I level and dominate.
It's awesome, man.
You know, and my beautiful daughter just got married last month.
There we go.
So she's living her best life, her and her new husband, and doing her thing in the news industry. So continuing to, you know, to amaze.
Yeah.
You know, every day I'm in amazement of both of my kids. So it's a blessing again.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks for doing this with me. It's been great.
My pleasure, man.
Cool.